So welcome to Friday, April 28th. Super excited always to be here with you. I wanted to share with you, hang on, I grab my notes. I want to make sure I stay on track. I was reminded yesterday that through a conversation that when we're searching or seeking out success, and of course success defined by you, whatever and however that definition is, and maybe even an encouragement of, do you need to redefine what success means to you? And this came through, I was so Kim, who's, I don't know, Carl, she's helping me, and well, let me be like ghostwriting my book, right? So we have conversation, I answer questions, and she's writing my book for me. And so we were talking about just that I have a experience of when I hit $1 million in revenue with the Curves franchises. And I won't share the entire story for you, but there was this moment of huge celebration because we were intentionally, that was my measurement of success. And then afterwards realized that I was the same person. I felt the same, right? I had the same stress, the same amount of judgment, the same limiting beliefs, the same challenges and problems, obstacles, and not that everything was really shitty in my life, like it was good, right? But this all this and this information, this awareness that I had sacrificed a lot in order for that to happen. And I thought when I reached that level, that peak level of that $1 million, that I was going to feel more successful. I was going to feel happier. And I had a moment, I had 5 minutes, maybe like 50 minutes of pure joy and ecstasy. And then I went and had a bath and had my like glass of champagne in the bathtub with me and spent hours crying because I was like, this is not, I don't feel like the way that I thought I was going to feel. And so then yesterday I was sharing the deeper part of what all of this stuff that was going behind, and realized that the reminder that success does not heal our wounds. So, right, money, and whether it be money or success or whatever, doesn't change us in any way, shape, or form. So if we're kind before we create cash flow, we'll be kind beforehand. If we have fear before cash flow, we'll have fear afterwards. I think money can amplify. I think money is an amplifier, right? The energy of money can amplify. So if you're in pure joy beforehand, you'll be amplified pure joy afterwards. And so the greatest part of this journey to quote unquote success is the opportunity to be in awareness of what your core wounds and your core fears are. And so you kind of diving deep into that exercises the last couple of days of like, what are those fears? What are the stories behind the fears, right? So part of a successful business truly is about healing some of those core wounds, is the mindset piece of it, right? The difference between what I find in coaching with mindset and therapy, because I've done both, and there's times I still go to my therapist, is that the therapy is like a talk therapy, right? Brings maybe the past into it and to talk it through. But sometimes talking things through doesn't make it go away. Sometimes it brings up the core wounds and core fears, and you're having to like go in and dive into it. So I think some of the difference with mindset coaching, or even just coaching in general, is we don't spend a lot of time in the past, right? We can be like in awareness of, is it important for me to know that story? Do I need to know where that came from, or can I just go in and create a new belief, make a new decision and create a new belief? and then work on, I guess, being in awareness of when that pops up. So for example, when my I'm not enough pops up, I don't have to go back to where that came from. I'm well aware of where that came from. So I can just let the story of why it's there and go, okay, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant what happened in the past. It's irrelevant why the story is there. I simply know that's a lie. And here's all of the evidence of that being a lie. And some days I have to do that repeatedly. Sometimes it doesn't come up. Whenever I go to do something new, that comes up, right? Like if I'm doing a new summit, so the ideas of doing a summit's not new, but every time I go to do a summit, I spend some time meditating and talking to divine self to remind myself that I do have the skills and ability to do this, and I do things differently for a reason, and I have seen things for years that no one else sees, and I don't need to belong, and I don't need someone to tell me that I'm right and that I know what I'm doing, because people don't see what I see. I have a gift, and I just see the world through a very, very different lens, and that's why I'm here. That's the stuff that I go through whenever I go to do something, and people will not see it like I do, right? And I've had a conversation with most of you, and you also have this same gift. People, you look at life through a different lens, and so embracing that different lens. And so what I wanted to add to what we've been talking about is giving yourself permission to soar. Would you be willing to give yourself permission to soar? Now, you can use a different word if soar doesn't, and I mean SOAR, right? Will you give yourself permission to soar? And if that word doesn't resonate with you, then whatever the word, will you give yourself permission to be unlimited? Will you give yourself permission to be limitless, right? I have a tagline in my podcast, which is be big, be bold, be brilliant, be you. And that actually came because I was giving myself permission, right? To be big, be bold, be brilliant, and be myself. And both of those, be big was tough for me, because growing up in an environment where don't stand out, be humble, right? And I think I've shared this story here a couple of times. Like, I'm 5'10", and my shoulders are have always been as wide as I'm built like what a man, right? So, and not comparing myself to a man, but just in context. So using the universal law of relativity in context, because I haven't met all of you in person. I do stand out, right? I often wear heels. So I'm 5'10", and I wear heels. And then if I do like the flow that I have today, I've got another 2 inches on top. So like, I'm well over 6 feet tall. So how can someone who's a woman who's over 6 feet tall not stand out? So you can create, affirmations, I am statements around stuff like that. You could give yourself permission to soar. Or be big, be bold, be brilliant, be you. You are more than welcome to have that. If you want to have that as an affirmation, please do. I would feel honored, right? Because what would it be like for you if you were bold? And what word do you have associated with bold? Like, when I first said that, I was like, I can't be a bitch. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting how I put bold and bitch together? Like, and that's not what I meant, but I meant like, I wanted to be able to have the freedom to stand out. I wanted the freedom to be able to like say what I needed to say, and I'll say it in a kind and loving way. But I didn't want to keep any more secrets. My whole entire family, my whole entire life was full of secrets. And that heaviness, I started to realize the heaviness of keeping family secrets. So I thought it would be bold for me to say to my family, which I did, I'm not keeping your secrets. So if you have a secret, then you shouldn't tell me, because I don't want to know your family secrets. And that's different than being a confidant to my sister, right? There's a different energy. But what I'm talking about, don't tell anybody that your dad is drinking. Don't tell anybody that your cousin got the crap beat out of her by her husband, because her husband's like a city councilor and she's just away on vacation. Like, don't tell anyone that your second cousin beat their child almost to death. Like, I'm talking like those kinds of secrets is what we were asked to keep. I'm not talking, let's be confident with each other, right? That's different. So you can create your own tagline if you're giving yourself permission to soar. And for months, I just use that as an affirmation. I give myself permission to soar. I give myself permission to stand out. It is safe for me to stand out, right? There's security in me standing out, because remember, we're wired for safety and security. And there might, possibly at an unconscious level, you might have been taught that you're not meant to, or not given permission to stand out, right? Children are to be seen and not heard. There's a place for, right? And my father wasn't like this. Like, I have a very strong mother. And his mother was very strong as well, but she was quietly strong. Like, the story is, my dad would say, my dad's mom passed away the couple months before I was born, so I never had a chance to meet her. But my dad would say, yeah, my mom was this quiet, strong woman. And my mom would say, yes, and she was very manipulative. Right. So, and so there's the shadow self of that. But my grandfather was like, there's a place for women, right? And but my mom's dad didn't have that, right? My mom's dad was literally a cowboy, right? And grew up on a horse. And so there was a place for women, and it was to be revered. Different family, different energy. So we all have this. My point being, we all have this in our background. So what would happen if you gave yourself permission to soar? And again, use whatever word. And listen for your yabbits. And what are you afraid of? So we'll go back to to yesterday. What are you afraid of? If you soar, what would happen? What are all of the beliefs that you have, right, about soaring, right? I had lots, right? It wasn't safe for me to stand out in a crowd. People are going to think that I'm a bitch. People will think that I'm being a braggart, that I have too much pride. People are going to want to bring me down a pin or two, right? I remember, right? Bring me down a level or 2 or 10. I had tons of fear around a soaring, right? Being seen and soaring. And so what if today was the day, and this day forward, that you focused on the possibilities of who you are, and you surrendered into the how? Because if I asked you, will you allow yourself to soar in everything that you're doing, in every way, in every place, including your business, and you could have everything or anything you wanted in your business, the majority of people go into, I don't know how to do that. Right. And of course you don't know how, otherwise you would have already done it. Right. So it's okay. It's okay that you don't know how. And the chances are you do know how. There's just fear, right? And sometimes it's fear disguised as I don't have time, or stuff like that, right? Yesterday I was in a chat training. It's actually the woman Amy Yamados, so she does the chat training for coaches. So I signed up. She had a month-long program, and as a bonus, so this is a great strategy, everyone. As a bonus, she gave away a VIP 2-day training. They're 2 4-hour days training on how to fill high-end VIP days, high-end retreats, high-end events. And so that's what I was on yesterday. And I'm going to kind of pull this apart for you. I signed up. I'm going to share her client journey with you. So this could be a how for you. So the client journey was, I was invited to something that's a trend right now, which is ChatGPT, and how to utilize ChatGPT in a way that would be authentic to me, and be able to save so that under the guise of creating content quicker and be able to do what I love, which is this, right? So she spoke to all of my like desires and pain point, right? Pain point meaning I have so much stuff that's in my head. I have so much available content and not enough time, air quoting here for those who are just listening afterwards, to create the content. Enters this new trend of chat GPT. So Amy is doing a training, and she's figured a way to mimic heart-centered voices. So she's speaking to me. So I sign up for this. It's a summit. It's an online summit. I upgraded, right, which is to the $47, knowing full well I would probably never listen to the audios again unless I had a specific reason to, but wanted access to the people that were on the summit. So, side note, if you're ever attending a summit, buy the damn ticket to upgrade. Not because you want the information, but you know what's going to happen is the people who are putting on the summit are going to email you, right? And you could look at it, well, they're going to email you, but those are connections for you. So switch it around. Yes, they're emailing you, but they could be your ideal client as well. Just because you attended their summit doesn't mean that they're above you, right? So buy the damn ticket, right? Then go friend them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, go to their LinkedIn profile, introduce yourself, and get to know them as people. Because they're going to say to you, what's the first thing they're going to say to you? Oh, well, what do you do? Right? Now, it could be because they're trying to assess whether you're their ideal client. But how about we just like switch that around? What if they're your ideal client? Have a conversation with them. What do you do? Well, this is what I do. I mean, if they're not your ideal client, what do you think the chances are that they might be connected to at least one of your ideal clients? 100%. It's 100% chance that they're going to be connected to one of your ideal clients. So you're not buying, I mean, that there might be some cool gifts in video, but you're not buying the ticket for that purpose. You're tapping into their resources of their list, right? So there's a ninja trick for you, right? So buy the ticket. So the client journey. So thanks for your, like, so all the stories in between. So the client journey, I go on a summit, I buy the ticket, I get a bonus. So that's the other thing. Don't, if you can, possibly don't discount your prices, offer bonuses, right? So, and at first you might not be able to offer a bonus, but offer bonuses. So then I'm offered a bonus of an extra chat GPT training. So I take the bonus, right? So the bonus being a VIP is an extra chat, a 60-minute chat training in a group session with Amy. She delivers amazing content. Halfway through, she said, oh, I want to share with you, I'm just about to relaunch my 1-month training for coaches, Chat GPT for coaches. And I'm just going to just quickly tell you what it's about. So she did her pitch, right? Middle of that's what you want to do it in the middle of your presentation. Don't wait to the end, right? So do it in the middle of the presentation, and it was an invitation. No, she's like, it was great. Totally speaking to this heart-centered woman, right? So she offers the program. It's starting in 3 weeks. And then right. So that was the bonus. So then we go to like sign up for the month-long program, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, she's adding an additional bonus. So the additional bonus is this 2-day on this high-end stuff. So what I'm sharing with you is her process is so I'm going to use words that I don't normally use. She got me by coming in a trend, right? Because there's so much fear and controversy around chat. And now she's going to take me through her main program, which is now teaching I'm a coach on how to do high VIP, right? So then that's the bonus. So it's 2 to 4 days of training. And guess what? She happens to have a mastermind program. So what is she doing in the 2 days? She's going to fill her next mastermind, and her mastermind is ongoing. So it doesn't have a beginning or an end, right? Or her one-on-one. So you can work with her one-on-one. Now I know exactly what she's doing, right? This is my world. This is my jam, but it's just in flow, right? She's really extremely comfortable because she knows, she has the confidence. She knows that what she has to offer is a game changer for anyone who says yes. And if you're not ready to say yes for whatever reason, there's no hard feelings. There's no that's just to her is like, that's cool, right? Like, would you like another cup of coffee? No, thank you. Okay, cool. So she doesn't have, right, that stuff around, oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. So because she's entering energetically into a conversation where she's detached, so this is where I was going with this, she's detached from the outcome, it just feels really good. It feels like a friend offering you another cup of coffee, where someone can say yes or someone can say no, because she's not doing this for the money. Her outcome isn't about the money. Her outcome is about, she wants to change the world. Just like all of us here have an outcome. And if it's not attached to, if we're not attached to the outcome and we surrender to the isness of the situation as it unfolds, it will unfold the way, it will always unfold the way it's meant to, whether you're in resistance to it or not, right? But if we can let go of the money piece, that's difficult, I get it, and that's the most important piece. So if you decided from today forward, you gave yourself permission to soar, then how amazing that would be. How amazing that would be. Perfect. Okay. Sherry, that her name is Amy, Amy Yamado, right? And if you want some of the information that she shared with me, I'm happy to share. I asked her if I could, and she said yes, I can share whatever it is. That's the other thing. She's like, yeah, share this thing, share this thing. She's right. She's very open-hearted that way. So if we decided to soar, then what would that look like for you? Right? What would you feel free and be free to be, do, and have? Now, the thing that made me laugh my ass off yesterday with Amy was she was giving everybody her $1 million strategy. So on her landing page, the bonus was, come to this, sign up for the month-long program, a bonus of a 2-day where she unveils everything that she's done to fill her events. And so far, she's shown us everything, like landing pages, language. It's just been awesome. So she's fulfilled her promise, which is important, right? Because she's going to be making an offer today. And then yesterday she said, okay, I'm about to reveal my $1 million strategy. And she said, grab your pens. So like literally there's 50 of us on there. Everyone grabs a pen and she goes, excellent. So here is the strategy. Are you ready? And everyone, like you can see everyone's like leaning in, getting ready to write. She goes, here's the thing. Make a list of people, right? That because what the exercise we did was like, why are we doing what we do? And imagining if it was full. She said, make a list of people that you thought of immediately that need your program. Call them. Repeat. That was her $1 million strategy. I laughed so hard, and she goes, you all think it's like, you all think it's really complicated. It's not. Just pick up the phone and call people. But there's such resistance. I don't want to be too salesy, right? I don't have time to phone all those people, right? I was talking to someone this morning. I said, just call them. She's like, I don't have time. I'm like, really? You don't have time to pick up the phone and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking about you because I have this new program. Who doesn't have time for that? Right? You don't have to get into the conversation. You can book a call if you, right. But we are relying so heavily on our social media platforms and our email, which it's not about doing one, it's actually about doing all three. Yes, absolutely. Have an email marketing campaign. Absolutely. Post on social media, right? Absolutely offer a free download, right? If you have a guide or something and you want people, I mean, this can be really simple. Is that who wants a checklist on how to, I thought of you, Emily, I thought of you yesterday. Who wants a checklist on how to, and then it was like something that she was doing. And everyone was like, I want that, I want that, I want. It's a really simple PDF. It's a 3-page PDF. It's a checklist. And she said, and she does it on her social media. She does it in groups where it's allowed. And people say yes, like, yeah, absolutely. She says, great. Um, and then she directs messages people and then gets their email address and then their phone number after that. But she gets their email address and then she emails them. And guess what? She has someone's email, building a list. And then afterwards, 2 days afterwards, she sends them, a quick message on Messenger and says, hey, what did you think of the guide? And she said 80% of the time, and I've done this too, 80% of the time I go, oh my goodness, I didn't have time to read it. She's like, no problem. Why don't we get on a phone call? We can talk about, right, the checklist or the guide, right? And then she's in a phone call. That's how simple it is. But we get caught up in the, do I have to have a CRM? No, you don't. Eventually, yes, right? But you could just, do it that way, right? Do it that way. So if we give ourselves permission to soar, then all of a sudden, all of these different ways and means, right? Now, for those of you who are using Messenger, you can use ChatGPT, and I'll find the prompt here for tomorrow. Sorry, the prompt is, it's for ChatGPT. It's basically like, I have a guide that does blah blah blah, and can you please give me 50 different ways to promote the guide once someone messages me? I think that's the prompt. And ChatGPT comes up with 50 different ways to say, hey, I have this guide for you. Because if you do that to 50 people on Messenger, you go to Facebook jail because they think you're spamming, because you're using the same words. And so you can copy and paste, but they're not the same words. And so then you won't go to Facebook jail, right? So that's kind of a way to overstep Facebook jail, because you're not spamming. People have asked for it, right? But still, Facebook has an algorithm, blah blah blah. So, okay, going back to tying this all together for all of you. If you gave yourself permission to soar, what would happen, right? What if you just decided that today is the day that that you could do that, right? And using, like mine was, like, be big, right? Be bold, be brilliant, be you, right? And the bigness, for me again was, it was also about my stature, like being okay with like how tall I am, and big in energy, right? People that meet me go, you have really big energy, right? And so I just wanted to own that. So what part of that part of you are you willing to own, right? And then just be so aware of the brilliant message that you have to share, and don't be afraid to call people. I noticed that you liked this post, right? I have a guide. I have a 3-step process. I have a checklist. If you don't have a checklist or guide, just say, I'd love to support you, right? And I have a checklist that I use, right, all the time. I'd love to sit down with you. I'd love to have a quick, like, 30-minute, 45-minute, Zoom with you. So if you don't have you don't have to make a guide. The guide's in your head. Like, right, for the longest time, I was like, I don't have something formal, but I got lots of stuff in my head. Right? So what do I have in my head that I'd be happy to share with people, right? It can be really, really simple if you allow it to. And if you open yourself to the possibility that you don't need to know how to do this, right? And I guess sharing. You don't need to know how to do this because you have someone in your life, that would be moi, that can sit down with you and tap into what your guides are saying, or just use my knowledge. Lots of times I will suggest things, but it's not me that's suggesting it. So we can have a conversation at any point in time about strategy, right? So my gift isn't in like, this is how you use Instagram, right? Like or Reels, because I don't follow the tech any longer. That's not my gift, but my gift is like, here's where you should be, here's where you need to be at, right? Based on what your intuition's telling us. So it's less knowledge, right? More tapping into how incredible you are. All right. Anything else from your perspective that I need to touch on? We're all good? Thumbs up. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Mwah. Love you all. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, which is Saturday. Well, thanks. Bye.